If there's one thing we as people tend to do, it's to research something until we find the answer we like. In my case, this was it. I could not accept that I could not afford 132nd slot cars. That digital slot cars were too expensive for me. I could afford analog 132nd. That was fine. But to me, the appeal of buying HO was that I was just going to get this huge track. I might have to get like one expansion and I could be all done. I'd have something that other adults played. I did a bunch of research and there's a lot of articles saying, no, you want to get the biggest scale possible. You want to get 132nd. You want to get 124. But then there was the HO enthusiast saying, hey, there's adults. This is the most popular scale in the world. There's professional racing for HO. You can get into that. It's just as well. They didn't necessarily say it's just as fun, but they said, well, I mean, they're enthusiasts. That's obviously what they're gonna do. But I gotta tell you, if you're an adult and you're looking at getting an HO set at 143rd, you probably shouldn't do it. I've shown this before, but here is a 132nd scale slot car. And here's a 124. And I'm telling you right now, the majority of people are going to tell you that the 124 is better. Maybe some of the slotted enthusiasts or collectors are going to tell you should get 132nd, but generally, most people prefer the larger 124 slot car as an adult. Now, I work a minimum wage job at a car wash, okay? And believe me, I could not afford to get a 132nd digital slot car set normally. But what I did do was after I raced with my HO set a few times, I can't find the freaking cars to show you. Oh, you know what? 1 second. Wow, look at that. Exact same slot car. Well, maybe not exact same model, but they're both T-Roof Trans Ams. Do you think this is as fun as this? This isn't even a contest, buddy. I gotta tell you. It's not even gonna be in the same ballpark of fun you're gonna have with an HO compared to a 132nd, okay? As an adult, we need to accept certain things aren't gonna happen in our life. Listen, in order for you to have a good time with your HO set, you're gonna need a pretty big straight. The bank turns don't matter that much with HO. They're so magnetized. They're just zipping around the track, going as fast as they can go. I'm not saying every single person in the world is going to prefer the larger slot cars to HO. HO is like the most souped up large scale slot car you can get, where it just sticks to the track and it's zooming at light speed all over the place, and you gotta have lightning fast reflexes. And I'm sure that there's some people, maybe for nostalgia or other reasons, prefer it. But I'm telling you, as a person, as an adult, you are going to like the bigger scale. If you want to try HO out, do yourself a favor and get a cheap little infinity loop set from AFX. AFX and Tomy make the best track. I'll get into HO later, but spending like the $80 or however much it is. I'm Canadian. I forget how much things are in Canadian dollars, okay? That's what you should start with, is a nice, small quality HO set. Because you're going to realize, like I did with this big thing, you can see it makes gigantic layouts. I might post an old video of this. I'm probably too lazy. I'm not going to do it. It takes up my kitchen table. My kitchen table is pretty large. Like that set was $200. The Muscle Car Shootout came with the lap counter, came with a bunch of turn radiuses, and takes up my kitchen table, which is where I originally planned to have the slot cars. Because I didn't plan, obviously, on turning my giant freaking basement into a complete slot car track. My wife didn't plan this. We got this sign back here. You think I had like a flag and I thought about opening up a store? I didn't think about that. But look, moral of the story is, listen to the guy who sold slot cars. You want to have a big scale slot car. If you have to start with analog for 132nd, do it. Okay? Like I was going to start with Scalextric for the longest time. It was going to be Scalextric Digital. This would have been Hornby or Scalextric behind me had I not had to wait for the set to come out. I was literally waiting for Carrera. I was literally waiting for Scalextric to come out with their wireless controllers for their set before I bought it. Then I realized, oh, they don't have fuel simulation. They don't have a proper pit lane. There was aftermarket stuff where I could solder the freaking eye, like drill a little hole in my track and buy the pit lane entrance and make some mods. I wasn't gonna freaking do that. I wanted something plug and play. I to this day I think I made the best decision getting Carrera. And no, Scalextric's just as fun. I'm just saying, Carrera 124 rust proof was really important for where I was selling cars, considering the roof was leaking 24/7. Okay, that's another discussion. I'm not getting into Carrera versus Scalextric. I've already done that, and I've already shown my cards on the table for obviously which company I prefer. Getting a little off topic here. Look, as for 143rd, that's fine. Okay, again, I know there are people. Well, one guy in the slot car forum I read one time that prefers the 143rd. 143rd, people say it's in between this and this. No, 143rd is completely random. Like, there's not a good standard for 143rd. 143rd can be like a bit bigger than an HO and can be almost as large as a 132nd. I've shown the super slot car set review, whatever Chinese set that was, where the car was literally just a smidge away from being 132nd. Like, look, minimum, I think an adult should really be getting 132nd. If you can make the money, like if you can work a couple extra shifts, don't be like me. Save up that little bit extra and get the 124. Like I keep telling myself, oh, well, it's kind of a good thing I got 132nd. No, it really wasn't. Not really. The 143rds had a double lane change. This is from Carrera. So, sorry, 124. The 124 had a double lane change that was straight. So a single lane change that was straight and a double lane change. But both of them were straight. Look, if I show you my current layout, which you can see in other videos, there's no curved lane changers. The straight lane changers are way better. And the straight lane changers, you could rig it up so that the cars will always go into the pit lane, which is important if you want to run a pace car later on. Because you might not always want to run fuel simulation. You can have one of your cars as a pit car. Like as a pace car. 143rd and HO. So I'm just going to sum this up. Okay? If you're an adult and you want to get into slot cars, the only reason to get HO over 132nd or 124 is if you want to have a family race and you do not have a 5x10 minimum space for a digital set. See, 5x10 minimum because that's what the old Carrera wirelesses go for, but to be honest with you, you're probably going to need, I'd say, 5.4x12. Let's say that, okay? I'll be fair. There you go, HO guys and 143 guys. I'm going to be fair. If you have a 5x4 foot wide and a 12 foot long space you can fit a track in, go for 132nd. And I already see this coming, where Scalextric and SCX and Ninko are going to come in here and be like, oh, you could fit this track on a 2x4. Not a 2x4, sorry. On a 4x8 piece, like plywood, because it's smaller turn radiuses than... You're not going to have freaking fun on a 4x8 piece of plywood, okay? You need a 12 foot straight minimum, in my opinion, to really go, yeah, you could slow down the slot cars. Oh, I'm gonna make a 3-stacker tower. No, we'll get into that later, okay? And I know I'm gonna get a lot of trouble for saying that too. But look, this is just not drifting. You could put aftermarket tires, you can take out the magnets, it's still not gonna be anywhere close to this. Get the 132nd, get the 124. Don't go researching counter information to go against the set I can't afford for a set I can't afford. You're better off just not slot car racing if you're an adult than to be going for a 143rd scale. I'm sorry, really don't mean to tick off the 143rd adult racers or the HO racers here. Like HO, if you want to have a family race, you want to have 4 people going, you're gonna go HO. Like if you have a small space and you want those things, you can fit the 5x12, save up and get digital. Keep on getting Scalextric digital. Like, you know what? Scalextric digital is a little bit cheaper and it's just as fun. SCX, as much trash talk as people give that company, Brian Young's selling it for I think it's like 350 Canadian? I could be wrong. Okay, it's stupidly low. The SCX starter set. This is coming from somebody selling sets, by the way. I'm selling Carrera digital sets. I'm telling you right now, if you can't fit in the 5.4 by 12 with Carrera, yeah, go for Brian Young, buy SCX or buy Electric Digital. SCX, you can run 9 cars at once. How cool is that? 9 cars on a 5 by 5.4 by 12 or lower, you know, with SCX. Like I said, you need to buy 12 though. Would be tight, but it'd still be fun racing multiple cars. But there's a reason they stopped making this. There's a reason why 143rd Digital got discontinued by Carrera. Trust me, if it's going to take you a year or even longer and you're just attached to having slot cars, save up, get the digital. If you're really, if you're stubborn, digital, then get an analog set, because then you could at least upgrade it to digital. Get a 132nd analog set. I don't even sell 132nd analog set, so I'm not even being biased here. Get a 132nd analog set, then you're set in the future when you want to upgrade. But don't be like me. Don't be getting yourself an HO slot car set. And I'm going to tell you why. Because that $200 I spent on that set down there, that could have went towards an expansion set. That could have went towards widening my turns. That could have went to another controller and another car. That could have went to the pit lane and the Bluetooth connector. Like, don't be wasting your money because you are enraged that you can't afford digital. Like, don't be doing that. So I hope we're clear. I'm calming down now. I'm really sorry to few people who are going to disagree with me. I've raced all the scales, I can assure you, and I've raced them all multiple times. So I'm just telling you, as an adult, I'm telling you, like, 99% of you are going to prefer the larger scale. There's other videos. I think I've done videos of 32nd between 124 on YouTube. I know there's some on my Facebook, on Sunday Slot Cars on Facebook. You can go look at my videos on Facebook if you want to see that. I've honestly done that topic to death. I really don't feel like going too in depth into HO and 143rd. I'm just telling you that the 143rd looks like a blink, and that HO looks like a blink. 143rd, that's just kind of a kid scale. It's not really. There's no scales. Carrera and SCX, everybody does a decent job, but they all have their own little scales too, honestly. So this is Sunday Slot Cars. Support the channel, buy stuff from my store. I'm out of 124 sets. I got a couple 132nd sets left. I still have lots of cars. I got lots of terrain accessories. Well, I don't got a lot of 124s left. If there's something you like, you should buy it, because that's going pretty quick. 124 is picking up popularity. Maybe that'll be another video. But yes, it's not worth it. It's not, as an adult, it's really not worth it.